Yesterday was the holiday in China that was celebrating 100 years of communist influence in China. And it was time to make this video for Americans who have no idea about China, have no idea about their own form of government, and have no idea about global governments and policies. The ignorance is just palatable, and sometimes it's really embarrassing to be an American hearing what our leaders say and what the citizens of my country say. So, uh, bear with me. I know there's going to be a lot of hate coming from America in the comments below this video, simply because hate is one of the greatest exports that America has right now, giving the rest of the world. So I fully expect it, but uh, these are all facts. These are all global understandings of forms of government, and America's clueless. So here comes your education. There are three true types of government: communism, socialism, and capitalism. Democracy is not a form of government. Democracy is a method by which a public, a society, can choose to follow one or more types of government, forms of government. To give you an example, during World War II, Americans were given gas stamps, rubber stamps. There were collections of tin, everything for the war effort. This was a form of communism. Uh, Everyone was, well, most people, there were still uber capitalists in America making tons of money, but for the most part, American citizens were fully invested, fully vested, fully in joint effort to win the war. And it was an amazing effort, and it was an amazing time in America. America has been in socialism, socialist country. One of our greatest presidents, FDR, built the infrastructure, built the water system, built the national park system. Teddy Roosevelt built the park system, but FDR really developed all of this. This was a time where jobs were hard to get, and he brought us into a point where we were the greatest infrastructure in the world. Um, so both of these periods, our communistic period and our socialistic period, were both amazing in history. And then comes capitalism in the 1980s, and I'm not blaming Ronald Reagan for it, but he was really the first one to really loose the dogs of capitalism. Uh, Capitalism is individual greed, all for the self, minimalizing government. And this is just another form of government. And before I stereotype my country in such a way, um, we need to understand that Americans in general stereotype. You think that China's communism is the same as the Cold War Rocky II Russian movie, which doesn't reflect Russia, doesn't reflect China, doesn't reflect anything. Your ideology of what communism is a complete fraud. Uh, you have not read Karl Marx, so therefore you don't know what the initial uh, thesis that he made about what communism is for. And basically, communism kills imperialism. China was suffering for 5,000 years under imperialism, multiple invasions from Japan, from the imperialist Japan, slaughtering people as if they were cattle. Because imperialism has one common trait in it, and that's the racism, that your country is for some reason superior to the other countries, and you are divine right to govern over them. So China's suffered from this for 5,000 years. And when Mao Zedong defeated Chiang Kai shek and put him onto the island of Taiwan, it was actually an act of mercy by the Communist Army, because they could have gone to Taiwan and slaughtered him, and it would have been the end of the imperialists. Instead, they have the one China policy, which is Chinese are Chinese, and you don't mess with that. And Taiwan exists today as an independent part of China in that it is still recognized by every Chinese as part of China, but it is given the independence until it comes back home naturally. Same with Hong Kong. So, all that's to say, you don't understand China. You pigeonhole it into communism just like you pigeonhole uh, black people in America as thieves or thugs, uh, Spanish Americans as lazy or also thieves. Uh, the white racist agenda in America uh, really has sunk into almost every corner of America. And so we just see other countries as us or them. And China is considered a them, even though China was our ally in World War II. China has not had any wars since 1979. China has never said anything about aggressions towards America. China just wants the best for their society. China pulled 1 billion people out of poverty. China has no homelessness. China has no hunger. A lot more than we can say for our country. So their form of government is superior to ours. I hope you let that sink in. Their form of government is superior to ours. I am not a communist. I do have appreciation for democracy. However, America is not a democracy. America is an oligarchy. America is controlled by very few people, and the vote does not matter. So we need to get off our high horse as Americans. We need to understand that we are an oligarchy of capitalism. Right now, I've seen so many court cases in America where corporations are the judge and jury and executioner for people. And American corporations are doing horrible things. American military complexes doing horrible things. And it's time for us to change. And we don't have the vote anymore. We don't have a uh, majority of the people even voting. So it's not a system that works. I don't know what the answer is to our country, but I wanted you to have this education on what forms of government are in this world, and that every individual country has a hybrid form. You can't even say it's a communist country. You can't even say it's a socialist country. You can't even say it's a capitalist country because there are factions, there are uh, hybrids of those three all across our world now. And we need to, as Americans, get away from the idea that we're a democracy. No, we're currently a capitalist country, an oligarchy capitalist country. Maybe someday we can go back to being a socialist country, which right now, for some unbelievable reason, is a bad word to say in America. The things that they can get Americans to believe is beyond me. It's almost like you could get an American to stop breathing if you told them that breathing was bad. It's gotten that ridiculous. Socialism is government for the benefit of society. Capitalism is no government, almost like chaos, almost like anarchy. Minimal government for the benefit of the individual, controlled by the individual. And communism, of course, is the attempt to dissolve the massive wealth, the attempt to break the income separation, to bring all people back to a normal life. And in America, we have no minimum standard of living. And in China, they do have a minimum standard of living. So that is where your argument would stop if you said that America had a superior system. Because if humans have no rights, and yeah, I'm saying it, in America, you have no rights. They can be taken away from you due to the, what was it called? The 9/11 Patriot Act. There you go. Patriot Act took away the rest of your rights. You have none. You can be detained for any amount of time for any reason. So you have no rights. There is no freedom. That's all a myth. It was taken away from you. So to say that America has a superior form of government than China is ridiculous. I understand you might not like China because of all the propaganda that's been put into your head, all the brainwashing that's put in your head. But please, please start reading, start looking at the statistics, start looking at what China's doing for the world versus what America's doing for the world. Even in the latest G7 meeting, Biden wanted to copy the Belt and Road. We had 200 years. We have never even finished the Pan American Highway, and Biden wants to copy the China Belt and Road. I can tell you one thing, it'll never happen. We haven't finished the Pan American Highway. How can people believe that we will have some green belt? It's just a ridiculous premise, a waste of time. We can't even pass our own infrastructure bill to fix 150-year-old lead pipes, to fix 70-year-old highways, to fix, what is it, over half the bridges in America get a grade of D and are in danger of failing. It's just ridiculous. So stop poking at China. Congratulations, China, on your 100 years of breaking the rule of imperialism. And I wish you the best in the future.